A letter was released yesterday by John Fisher, the owner of the Oakland A's, and it was a doozy. The ghostwriter in this case will not come forward because the ghostwriter or writers are likely to get fired. Starting with, the letter was absolute poppycock. Finishing with, there was an actual spelling mistake in the letter. The name of the earthquake, which was referenced, of course, the 1989 earthquake in the World Series between the A's. It was the World Series by the Bay. You may recall that World Series got delayed by like a week because of an earthquake. Anyway, John Fisher in his letter spelled it wrong. The process of doing these letters, I could spend a show on. It goes through so many drafts, so many eyeballs are on it. It gets approved at the end by the person whose name is on it. You can bet your bippy that Dave Cavill, the president, saw it, approved it. John Fisher may have read it, may have approved it. How could he not have? He started with, to our Oakland Athletics fans. Thank you. It's always good to know who we're writing to. We're not writing to the people of Oakland, not interested in you. We are interested in just those subset of the people of Oakland who are fans of the Oakland Athletics. It's always good to start your letter with something that everybody knows already. Can you imagine? Who put this letter together? The upcoming series with the Rangers will be the final games of the A's 57 years in Oakland. Phew. We had no idea why you'd be releasing a letter. You're totally incommunicado. You don't give interviews except in Vegas. You don't walk around and talk to fans. So now you're communicating through a letter. Now I get it. Didn't know what you were going to talk about. Maybe the stock market, maybe your jean size, but now we know it's about the upcoming series being the last one. All right, what's next? The A's previously played in Philly and Kansas City. You know what that's meant to do? That's meant to make the people of Oakland say to themselves, wow, we got this team because we really hurt the people in Kansas City who hurt the people in Philadelphia. So the people in Sacramento and Vegas, if it's Vegas, will be hurting us. It's just part of the circle of life. I understand what they're trying to say. We shouldn't be so angry. What else did we go on to? Second paragraph. Let's get right into it. 4 World Series championships, 6 pennants, 17 division titles, 7 Hall of Famers. All right. Now you're telling us why we're going to miss it so badly and how unbelievable it is that a team with such pedigree is relocating. Fair enough. I'm glad we got that clear. This letter's going great so far. Let's see what we can go on to now. How about triumphs and near misses? And then the earthquake spelled wrong. The 20-game win streak, a Hollywood movie. Who cares? All right, let's see what else, because that paragraph is a total waste. Now we're getting to the emotional part. And that, I know, is what makes our departure so very hard. It's so colloquial. You don't write that way, the way you talk. And I know is what makes our departure. It's so hard. I'm so sad for all of Oakland Athletics fans. All right, now let's get into the next paragraph, which is a real doozy. The A's are part of the fabric of Oakland. The East Bay, the entire Bay Area. When Lou Wolf and I bought the team in 2005, well, I was there in 2005. Guess how many people within the owner's room knew the name John Fisher? Almost none of us. He was on the list as the investor. Lou Wolf was the person in charge, the control person. But anyway, glad you started in 05 just to show us how much longer you've been there. Our dream was to win world championships and build a new ballpark in Oakland. I'm not exactly sure what the dream was because the first thing Lou Wolf wanted to do was move out of Oakland. But again, I digress. Over the next 18 years, we did our very best to make that happen. Well, I never told you in my 18 years that I tried my very best to win a world championship every year because I knew when we had rebuilt the team or cut the payroll that we weren't going to win the world championship. Not saying we weren't trying, but our very best. It's very hard to say that to a fan base. Maybe Steve Cohn can say for 5 years, I've tried my very best to win a world championship. For the Yankees, they could say since 2009, maybe even earlier, since 2000, we've tried our best. But I'm not sure there's any other teams who can say it. The Cubs can't. Anybody who's rebuilt can't, but again, let's not quibble over choice of words, even though this was wordsmithed by a ghostwriter. Let's keep going. We proposed and pursued 5 different locations in the Bay Area. Would you care to list those 5 different locations? Because I'm getting a little confused. My memory has locations outside of the Bay Area. We've got certain areas within the Bay Area that you looked at for about a minute and a half and said, thanks, no thanks. That would be like me during our search for a new stadium in Miami, would say that we looked at 20 different sites within Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach. That's true because we did Google searches, and we'd have one meeting saying, excuse me, Fort Lauderdale, any interest in $500 million? No? All right, we're not considering that anymore. Hey, Seminoles, any interest in fully financing a stadium on your land? Well, we'll have a meeting. Great. How'd the meeting go? Not interested. Does that count? I guess it does. I guess so. So we'll go with that if we have to. Pursued 5 different locations. Despite, the letter continues, mutual and ongoing efforts to get a deal done for the Howard Terminal project, we came up short. This is when it gets really dicey. When you're meeting with your ghostwriter, you got to give him the facts. How short were you at the Howard Terminal? Was it $20 million? Was it $80 million? Were you ever really going to be at Howard Terminal? I'm just curious, what were the ongoing efforts to get a deal done, and how do you respond to the mayor who claims there's an absolute deal to be done? Oh, by the way, there's another ownership group who's ready to buy your team and do that deal. But anyway, let's not quibble. Let's see what else happened here. The letter continues. Only in 2021, after 16 years of working exclusively on developing a home in the Bay Area, horse hockey. I was in the meetings in baseball where that was not the focus. But anyway, let's not get upset with that problem too. In 2021, faced with a binding MLB agreement to find a new home by 2024, did we begin to explore taking the team to Las Vegas? So I would like to point out that paragraph in this letter, there is not one bit of truth contained in the entire paragraph. I'm sorry to say it. Sorry to let you in under the kimono of Major League Baseball owners meetings. Vegas as a destination has been talked about for 2 decades. Number one. Number two, the binding agreement that is referred to here is an agreement in the collective bargaining agreement, which said that if the A's do not have a permanent place to play, a plan to play in a permanent place, announced by 2024, they will lose revenue sharing. It doesn't say they've got to move to Vegas. It says they've got to have a place to play. The purpose of that provision, which was put in there solely at the request of Major League Baseball and the A's, was to put a hard deadline to get Oakland to step up and give more public money. There is no reason to have that provision within the collective bargaining agreement. Baseball would have you say that the players' union was very upset about the Oakland A's situation, despondent about the stadium. Wait till they see Sacramento. Despondent about payroll. There's 20 teams who over the course of time have payrolls that are too young in the mind of the union. Every year it's different teams that are grieved against because payrolls are too low or player salaries are being manipulated or service time. It is part of the relationship with the players' union and the commissioner's office where grievances are flowing back and forth, mostly forth. All of that is standard operating procedure between these two groups and in many groups who are in a union management situation. Saying that the binding MLB agreement is what caused them to leave Oakland would be the equivalent of me saying that it is my technological inefficiencies that led us not to do a show today. It's just wrong. If there's no show today, there's a reason. It ain't technology. Let's come up with the reason. I'll give you a reason. Now let's get to the last paragraph of this letter because the letter still goes, which is amazing. There are millions of dedicated and passionate A's fans in Oakland and around the world. Staff members, Coliseum employees have poured their hearts into this team. And then he says, I know there is great disappointment, even bitterness. And here it comes. Hold on to your hats, everybody. Though I wish I could speak to each one of you individually. Stop right there when you're doing a letter. When you're a public figure doing a letter, stop. Don't ever say that, because you don't wish that you could speak to each one of us individually, and that's obvious. But there are ways that you could speak to more of us, not by releasing this letter on Twitter, like being available for Q&As at the ballpark, like just walking around the ballpark and letting fans vent to you. Take 1 inning per game and just walk around and let 3 fans talk to you, and then say, I've spoken to as many of you as I can. Of course, I wish I could have gotten to all of you. But the way John Fisher has been in Oakland, the way Dave Kaval has been in Oakland, I think it's pretty disingenuous to say that I wish I could speak to each one of you individually. I can tell you this from the heart. We tried. Uh-oh. Staying in Oakland was our goal. Uh-oh. It was our mission, horse hockey, and we failed to achieve it. And for that, I am genuinely sorry. For those of you who are longtime Nothing Personal fans, I know you love the adjectives before sorry. I am so sorry. I am genuinely sorry. I am 100% wrong. Sorry. Yep. Really don't need the adjective. But are you sorry? I wonder why you wrote you're sorry. What are you sorry for? Sorry that you failed to achieve the goal of getting the publicly financed stadium? I'm in. I want a letter. Well, I'm going to tell you how my letter would go, but let me read the last sentence of this letter, because it's this may be the coup de grace of this letter. Looking ahead, I hope you will join our beloved A's as we move forward on this amazing journey. It's not that amazing for the people who you're writing the letter to, so it's not that nice. It's like saying you're sorry to the team that you beat. Hey, sorry I beat you, but man, I hope you root for us as we continue our amazing journey to the World Series, and then you get the finger given to you. I hope that you'll join our beloved A's as we move forward on this amazing journey. I hope I will see you again sporting the green and gold, and I hope we will make you proud. How did those sentences get approved as the end of the letter?